The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear.
Idea 1.
Okay, perfect.
You are that underlying awareness. If I ask you the question,
Oh, sorry. There's a little bit of a pause. Pause for you.
find out which parts of
Simon?
ourselves are essential
We're
to
up
our
again.
existence. I want you to close your eyes and imagine you're in a room with a bunch of people and a piano. So the first thing, let's see if we are the objects around us. So obviously, if I take away the piano, you would have no problem with that. It's just a piano. It's got no relation to you. If I take away other people, you'd be like, I don't mind being alone every now and then. Okay, so let's take away all outside objects. Even though everything is now gone, you would still exist. You might be a bit afraid or angry, but there's nothing around you, but you would still exist. Okay, so what about if I take away your name? Well, most people would be fine with that. It's just a name anyway. You could change your name and you'd still be the same person. Okay, so we know we're nothing outside ourselves. So let's look inside. First, let's look at your emotions. If we took away all your emotions, would you still exist? I'm sure you can think back to a time when you had no emotions and you still existed. And also the act that you can feel the emotion means there's someone that's feeling it. This ability to observe things is known as a subject-object relationship, and you can only have a subject-object relationship to something that is separate from oneself. Okay, what about if I take away your thoughts? Well, this one might be difficult to imagine, but this one also involves the subject-object relationship we just mentioned. You can see your thoughts, so therefore they must be separate from you. And I'm sure everyone's had a time when they were so focused on activity that no thoughts were entering their head, and you still existed, which means that thoughts are also not who we are. So now that we have removed all the aspects of yourself that aren't your true self, what is left is this awareness that you exist. And this is the true answer to the question, who am I? Idea 2. Learn to control your inner roommate. So who's this inner roommate we're talking about? Well, this is that voice inside your head. If you're not sure about which voice I'm talking about, try saying hello inside your head. It's that voice. So the first reason why you would want to control this voice is because this voice prevents you from enjoying any moment fully. Imagine you're walking through a beautiful forest, and while you're walking, you realize that you're not sure if you switched off the stove back at the log cabin. Now, instead of enjoying this beautiful walk through the forest, your mind is preoccupied with whether or not you left the stove on, and you don't get to enjoy fully this beautiful surrounding. And then after all this worrying, when you get back to the log cabin, you find the stove was turned off. So many times the mind worries about things that never happen and wastes all this energy on stuff that never actually occurs. So this is why you need to be able to control your thoughts so that you can fully enjoy those special moments but also be able to think when you need it. Idea 3. It is impossible to control the outside world, so focus on controlling your inner world. So this is Tom. He goes for a walk one day and falls, and a big thorn gets stuck inside his arm. This thorn causes a lot of pain when Tom does certain things. So he has two options here. Option 1 would be to remove the thorn, and then he could carry on with his life as he pleases. Option 2, which is what most people do, is to adjust their whole life around this pain and avoid any situations which create this pain. The thorn in this example represents our emotions. For example, loneliness. People will design their whole life around preventing this emotion arising by always being with friends or out in places where other people are. They design their whole life around avoiding the feeling of loneliness. So how do we control our inner world and pull out the thorn? Well, the first step is in understanding what causes negative emotions. Negative emotions occur when events happen or people act differently to our expectations. If we then suppress these emotions, this creates a blockage, and this blockage then has the possibility of returning when a similar event occurs in the future. The trick is to allow the emotions to occur and not try to suppress them. This will then not leave any blockages which could recur in the future. When you have these emotions, do not feel guilty, just accept them, otherwise you'll just be trading one emotion for another emotion. Okay, so now that you know the techniques, the practical way to apply these techniques is to start with something small. First start with the smaller emotions, such as being cut off in traffic or being late for work, and then work your way up to bigger and bigger events until no event causes you to create a blockage in your system. And once you can handle any event that happens in your life, then you can start truly enjoying life without the worry of things not happening the way you expect them to. The fourth and final big idea in this book is to use death as a tool for growth instead of fearing it. Most people do know that death could happen at any moment, but we have this false sense of security that it would not happen to us, and that allows us to do things which we don't like or to postpone our desires indefinitely. So what you need to do is to remind yourself of the impermanence of this life and use this knowledge to motivate yourself to do the things in life you wish to do. If anything did happen to you, you would have no regrets. The four big ideas from the Untethered Soul are: you are the underlying awareness. Learn to control your inner roommate. It is impossible to control the outside world, so focus on controlling your inner worlds. And finally, use death as a tool for growth instead of fearing it. And if you're thinking of buying this book, I've done a review over here, and this states whether or not it's worth it to buy this book. And if you're enjoying this content, subscribe to support this channel.
Okay,
Interesting.
awesome. Isn't that interesting? Crazy.
That's, yeah. I mean, that I never heard anyone talking about death as a tool for growth before.
Yes.
And that, I mean, that all comes. All the first three things, you sort of like, yeah, okay, I get all that. I mean, we've all looked at that sort of stuff before, but then to sort of jump into that finality of death being a tool for growth, I'd never even thought about that.
Yeah, because he is right about everyone thinks, everyone fears death and everyone thinks it's not going to happen to them. It's like, oh,
yeah, I mean, that
people.
that's for sure. But to use it as a focus, I mean, it's essentially, I suppose he's saying, look, you got to get these things done because you're not going to be around forever. I mean, that's interesting. I think,
not to fear it, right? That's the main thing. Everyone lives their life in this fear of death all the time.
Yeah, well, I don't know if everyone does, but because
right.
I generally don't, and I know it's going to happen at some stage, and it's what we were talking, wasn't it, a few days ago? It's about, as you get older, you start going to more 50th birthday parties, and then you start going to more funerals, and the first ones are the family ones, which you kind of get used to family funerals, and they're all expected. But when it's people your own age who start popping their clogs, then it starts to come home a little bit more, doesn't it? So I think probably as you get older, you start fearing this death business. But yeah, strange.
Fearing it more or fearing it less?
Yeah, I mean, I don't fear it at all because it's going to happen at some stage. I mean, for me, it'd be nice if my kids didn't die. but yeah, I mean, these things, yeah, they do happen.
Yeah, and death is always a bigger deal for the person that didn't die.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. I'll tell you what I do quite like about that video is the doodling. Have you seen that doodle software that you can get? I keep seeing these adverts coming up, and I think that'd be a really good way to explain things. I did. Yeah. I actually did one for my osteopathy practice. I got a virtual. I think it was on Upwork, or I think it was on Upwork rather than Fiverr, and it was explaining to patients what they had to do for COVID precautions when they came to see me, and it was like a little cartoon, and they're really easy to follow. And to do one of those doodles for stem cells or whatever else, be a nice little doodle for each patch, perhaps.
Yeah, that's a good idea because they are engaging, right? You like to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why they've been so successful.
Yeah, they are. And I'm definitely a visual learner, so I remember things so much more if I see it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'll have to try that software sometime and see if I can tell a little story and do one myself. I mean, quite often it's quite time consuming and often better to get someone else to do it. But it's quite interesting. It's quite an interesting process, isn't it, in itself?
Yeah, and they've gotten a lot better. When they started out at the beginning, it's years ago, someone had to actually doodle it
Okay.
and film it, but now
Yeah.
it's an animated thing, but yeah.
Yeah.
But that is a good thing, and I like, it'd be good. Things that are short are always good, like 3 minutes, 2 minutes, I find anyway. You don't want something
Definitely.
an hour long, you know, nobody's gonna watch.
Yeah, I wouldn't last. I wouldn't last. Hi,
Or even
Margaret.
half an hour, like 5 minutes max is my thinking for
Yeah.
anybody to watch anything. Even that's a hard time.
Yeah, definitely. Otherwise, I just go and do something else. I might leave it on in the background, but I'll just go and do something else, and it won't have all my attention.
Yeah. And the other thing I find people are not really aware of, but what I do is I mostly listen to videos. So I don't care what's happening on the screen. I have my my earbuds in or whatever, and I'm just listening to people talk. I'm not watching the video. But when you're talking, and in the case of a doodle video, you want to have that in mind, so people aren't seeing what you're showing. They're just listening. And I do that a lot. I do that almost for everything. I put it on. I listen to it in the background. Even our Tuesday night calls, I'll tune in live for an hour or so, but then I'll just run it on the speaker in the background and listen to what's going on.
Yeah, and I often do that when I go walking as well. I just stick my things in, and it may be playing a YouTube video or something, but I'm only listening to it, just imagining what it might be on the screen. Yeah. Occasionally you'll say there's some reference to might want to have a look at and get my phone out of my pocket, but generally I'm just listening to it.
Yeah. And most of the time it's just somebody talking anyway, whatever.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah. Or two
just
people.
Get warnings about how much data I'm using on my phone because I'm watching all videos but only listening to it.
Right.
But yeah, it's the way it is.
Yeah. Cool. Hey Margaret, good morning.
How you doing?
You're on mute.
How you feeling?
Feeling better?
Margaret's feeling better, not 100%, and she thought she was feeling great on Sunday and decided to wash the bathroom, and now she threw her back out. Anyway, it is what it is, and I'll get over it. But honestly, I was so sick, I didn't even put any patches on. Like my brain couldn't even get it together to put patches on, which is fine. But then yesterday when I put my back out, somebody said, oh, well, it's time for some patches. So I put on the skin one, I put on the sleep night one, and I put on the pain patch where my back is really sore. And I slept from like about 7 o'clock till 5 o'clock this morning. It was amazing. So
yeah, so that's some good healing while you're asleep.
yeah. Now I wish I could put the pain patches on now, however, you can't. But it was more important to get good sleep than.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks guys, appreciate it.
Right. Yeah.
Is that an Eon pain patch?
No, it was the
Wave.
what's the pain patch?
Ice Wave.
Ice Wave, the ones with the left and the right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it did get rid of it. Like obviously, I mean, I slept the whole night and I could barely walk. I don't know what I did. I must have just twisted my back or something. So don't decide to clean your bathroom a day and a half after you've been sick for 6 days.
Yeah, definitely. But it's a good thing that you felt that much better to be able to do it in the first place.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And like I say, I mean, I do feel better, although my back is still out because I went to get a coffee this morning and you know, you sit in the car the wrong way and it's like, oh shit. But it's all right.
Yeah. Simon was just talking earlier. He just had some knee surgery done. So he's on.
You did?
Simon, he's on the mend.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, hopefully he'll use them.
Yeah. I'm on all kinds. But my favorite, I think, apart from X39, my favorite patch has been glutathione. That I just felt so much better using that. Maybe it's because I was so toxic.
Yeah. Where do you wear it?
Where did I wear it? I moved it around. I moved it around. So according to the booklet, I just used the different places and moved it around.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's great.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm
it was
gonna-
good.
I'm gonna order the energy patches this month and
Yeah.
try them.
The
And,
energy enhancer, I've used them, they're good. Oh,
yeah,
oh.
that's
Yeah.
what I heard, and I don't really need more energy, but you know, Tom was saying that the results are instant, you know.
Yeah.
First day you can feel it. So
Yeah.
you know what, if you give it to some new people, then they believe that this is working, right? If they can see
Yeah.
results right away. So I'm gonna order some and then if it, you know, get recommended to other people if I can feel it right away.
I
Yeah.
gave, I have a friend she lives north of Toronto, and she was down about a week ago, not last week, the week before. And she's a professional photographer, and she took a lot of face pictures of me so that I could have some. And so she really wasn't charging me, so I gave her X39 pack, and I said either use them yourself or pass them out. She has a lot of friends up north that have animals that are in pain, and these are older people in pain. So I'm hoping either she gets in or, you know, get some orders. So,
Yeah, they were the original patches, weren't they? The energy ones.
oh,
Mhm.
really?
Yeah, they
I-
were the first ones. 2004.
I gave her the X39 because they're good for like the dogs and that. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were kind of talking about, you know, if you could get new people to try the X39, the stem cell
Mhm.
patch, the pain patch, because that works pretty instantly too for some people.
Yeah.
And then, and this energy patch, and I think the point being is, if you could see the results with something right away, then you're gonna believe that it's
Yeah.
working.
for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So that,
So
and that
I
way
use
they
the
can get
energy.
that way they can get their 3 patches in the first order. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and come in as a silver package.
I used the energy enhancers when I was playing tennis a few months ago. And my friends that I were playing with, they were saying, what are you on? Because I was running around all over the place.
There you go. Awesome.
What are you on?
And Tom was saying he put 2 of them on and he drove for 8 hours from New Jersey to wherever his daughter is.
Oh, my
And
gosh.
All right.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what they were originally intended for.
I'm
Yeah.
curious why you can't, if you put the pain patch, like the ice wave in different spots, why you can't wear them for 20, like take the 12-hour one off and then put another pair on somewhere else. I'm curious why you can't really do that.
Well, I think from what I can understand, it's your body, you don't want your body getting used to it.
Yeah.
Like being
Yeah, it's
accustomed to it.
attenuation, isn't it?
Yeah, you want to give it a break so you can, you know, it can start over again. That's
Yeah.
kind of what I understood.
Yeah.
And it, why they decided 12 on, 12 off, I think it's a little bit of a marketing thing. That way you
Yeah.
get them every day, you know. But is that, and I think it comes from their studies. They realize that
Yeah.
if you take
Oh, I'm
them
sure
off,
there's good reason.
but that's my
It's like-
thinking.
Yeah, it's like taking medicines, isn't it? It's like taking medicines. If you take them for too long, you get used to it. They're not
Yeah.
effective. If you drink a lot of coffee, you get all that caffeine, and it doesn't affect you so much if you're used to it. Whereas if you don't have any, you suddenly take some, and you're going, "Wow, what's going on?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same stuff.
Yeah, or any kind of drugs. If you're smoking weed and you smoke
Yeah.
it every day, like some people, then
Yeah.
then it doesn't affect you.
Yeah, they're all the same, aren't they? Yeah, your body just gets used to it.
Yeah.
And like exercise too. If you get used to exercising in a certain way, then your body gets used to it. And so if your desired effect is to go and lose some weight or something, then you stop losing the weight because your body's got used to it and it's settled in. You have to switch it up and change it around a little bit, and then you re-engage those or that weight loss
Yeah.
process.
Right, and cycling through the muscles, you know, this one
Yeah.
day, that one day, because if you're doing the same thing every day.
Yeah.
it's not a-
Yeah.
So is anybody doing anything different as far as reaching out?
No, I'm just trying to be consistent. Just
Yeah.
do the set amount every day, and even if I don't, because a lot of the ones I do, I haven't spoken to for ages, and so I've got quite a lot of Instagram people that I've never really spoken to, and so a lot of the time they don't actually end up in conversations. But the most important thing for me is actually to get down there, get them done, and then see what happens. And if I can keep doing that day in, day out, then that's where I'm heading. That's where I'm at the moment. It's just that getting that consistency and not doing anything else until I've done those things.
That's
Yeah,
the one thing I
too.
did when I was sick last week was I still reached out to one person a day. So I have like a week's follow-up to do, which won't take me long because like you said, Simon, a lot of them aren't even answering. So
Yeah.
it's not going to take me long to do that and then but at least even though it was like 8 o'clock at night and I'm like, all I want to do is sleep again. It was like, no, you cannot stop because that's starting all over again. So I was pretty happy with myself that I didn't do the 3 every day that I was doing, but I did 1 every day. So
yeah, and you feel great that you've done it.
Yeah. Even though I just said hello, I just want to connect. I didn't mention nothing about anything. At least like you say, it's being ingrained into my psyche.
Yeah, and they do come back. They do come back a couple of months later. They might sort of suddenly see their messages and then come and say hi. They sometimes you see seen, don't you? And they've just ignored it, which is fine. But then you follow it up again in a month's time, and they might actually say something. So it's almost like just getting your foot in the door, isn't it? And so once you've got your foot in the door.
I was wondering, if I could throw this out, what I was thinking of doing, if that's okay, you guys can give me your opinion. So over the last month, if you do like 3 people a day or 1 person, you've got anywhere between 30 and 45 people. So if I took those 30 people and I put them into that Facebook group that we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, where you just make a Facebook group with the people you've talked to. So I was thinking of doing that every month, having the group that I talked to the month before and just start sending out testimonials and things like that, like not harassing anybody, but just putting them in that group, and every couple of days or 3 days sending out a testimonial just to that group, because they already know what I'm talking about if they want,
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, here's my feedback as I've tested it a little bit more what we were talking about.
Yeah.
And I had lunch with Darren Little last 2 weeks ago here in
Nice.
Cabo. I don't know if you know who he is. He's
I know who he is, yes.
marketers in the world. It's amazing. So
Right.
It's great. So the biggest thing I learned from him is you let your social media do the follow-up. Right. And I'll get back to what you were saying, Margaret. But so once you've connected with somebody, and I've never thought about this in all the years that I've been doing Facebook and stuff, is as soon as somebody is connected with you, they're on your friends list, if you engage in their posts and then they start to see you more. So if you start to put out regular good content, it doesn't have to, and not to have anything to do with any kind of business, just being social, then they're being exposed to you all the time. So you've got and as you build up your audience on Facebook, you've got more and more people seeing your posts, and then they're going to make a connection with you. So that's one thing. So the other thing I learned from him is that the Facebook algorithms really take a look at the comments and the likes and the views on your posts, right? And that really makes a difference to who's seeing your posts and how many. So those 3 things, the amount of comments you get, the amount of likes you get. And I've always known that, but with our strategy about talking about putting it into a private group, I find I'm getting no comments, no likes, and no posts on those posts, which is fine because it's going out to them as information. But I don't know how that affects this algorithm, because even though it's a private group, it's not going out to everybody. If Facebook looks at that as being, affecting your algorithm, then there's an issue there. So unless you can engage with people and make sure that people are posting or commenting, so maybe we can start asking questions in those private posts. Because Yeah, so that's only one, you know, and it's good to
Yeah,
hash it
well-
out because to see if it's really working and.
Yeah.
And not, so, yeah, I'm still testing that. So the other option is to figure out a way of following up with all those people outside of that idea. And I like that idea because it's automated. You just have to do one post and it goes to everybody.
Yeah,
And I don't know if you know what we're talking about, Simon, but you can create what's it called, Margaret? Like a,
just like a
specialized
private,
friends list?
yeah,
Private
a friends,
list.
private friends
Yeah, I
group.
know. Yeah, I know what you mean. And then
Yeah.
you can show a post to just that friends list.
Yeah,
Or
And
yeah,
it looks like a regular post, but only they are seeing it.
yeah, only looks like a regular post to them. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So.
yeah. No, that
uh,
makes a lot of sense.
So the other way is to follow up by email. It's still the best method after all these years because if you ask for email addresses from everybody, then you can automate that. You can get messages going out to everybody at the same time based on when they come into your list. And the other option was Eugene's got something going where you can automate the messenger, Facebook Messenger, so that it sends out regular posts.
Yeah, but like a mini chat, like a mini
Yeah,
chat.
like an auto chat. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. They don't like you following up with people if you haven't been in contact with them in the last 24 hours or something. That makes it difficult to do a sort of mail shot.
Okay. Yeah. So if you haven't personally outside of this automation,
Yeah.
Okay. Otherwise, there's the
Unless you pay
manual.
for it.
There's a manual method. That's what I've been doing, just going into Messenger. And the thing is, once you go into Messenger, it kind of keeps everybody in the same spot.
Yeah.
I just send a message to 10 people, it stays in that same spot until somebody responds, and then they go to the top of your.
like I'm just trying to figure out, because if you do this for 90 days, you're gonna have at least 90 to 180 people. How are you gonna keep in touch with the, you know, when you're working on the, say, October, November, December, when you're working on December ones, how are you ever gonna keep in touch with the October ones? That's why I thought I would try the Facebook specialized, I would just title it October reach outs. And then, anyway, I just,
Yeah, then you can rotate that. You can rotate that for your October, December
yeah,
reach outs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
and you're not necessarily sending out the same things to the October people that you're sending out to the November people.
until maybe the next month, and then
Yeah.
you'll do. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
that's-
yeah, because
Key, you know, all the
by
follow-up.
November, you'll have, like, by the time December comes, you'll have like a month's worth of conversations that you've sent out to the October group. You can just duplicate that to send it out to the November people because they're not the same people.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And also you'll know which ones are the hotter prospects because some
Yeah.
of them will have replied already.
well, I mean, and if nobody's even commenting or anything after a month, you can just basically take them off your list because they're not
Yeah.
going to. If
Or
they
just
don't,
have your
find-
hot prospect list.
yeah, if they don't find the information interesting or workable for them, then they're never going to get in touch with you anyway. So it gives you kind of 30 days to play around with them.
Yeah.
Give them, you know, you don't have to be posting always stuff about LifeWave. You can just do,
Yeah.
There's lots of stuff going on about stem cells at the moment.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of content that you can use.
anyway, I have a call at 11:30, guys. So Don, you're amazing keeping this up and not many people are showing up. I hope you stay till the end of like December.
I'm gonna
Sure.
keep doing it, whether people show up or don't show up, so.
Okay, great.
Consistency, just like with our follow-ups, it's so important, so.
Yeah,
And it's
And,
always great knowledge, isn't it? These calls
Yeah.
have always been like,
yeah.
every time, it's been amazing information.
And maybe you should, I don't know if you want to, but you should reach out to people that are attending pretty regularly and just saying, do you want to host the call? They could still host it on your site. but you could sort of sit back on your couch and enjoy it for a change.
Yeah, well, it's great for me too, you know, I love
Yeah.
meeting in the morning, it starts the day and I get
Yeah.
off to work after that. And doing some
What
work
time
after
is it where you are?
Well, it's funny, but we just changed to daylight
Yeah.
savings in Mexico, so it's 8:30 in the morning right now for the next week. We're kind of out of sync with. Oh, and you changed also, Simon, didn't you?
Yeah, we changed as well. It's 3:30 in the afternoon here.
Right.
Yeah,
But
it's
the US,
11:30.
the US and Canada didn't change.
We change next weekend.
Right.
Time warp week, that kind of.
Although,
Yeah.
although apparently with Bell and Rogers, who are the two main carriers here, I guess they had a real glitch with their system. And half the people in Canada and the US, I guess, changed. And the other
Oh, did
half
they?
didn't. Yeah.
Half did, half didn't.
Well, they didn't opt in. It was done automatically on their cell phones. So there was a lot of people woke up this morning late.
Oops.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Because it happens automatically, doesn't it, on your
Mhm.
phone? The only way I know is because my stove is still on the
Yeah.
old time zone.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was weird because it didn't happen to everybody. It just happened to, you know, maybe a third of them or half. I don't know.
And
Anyway,
you know
I
what I
gotta
thought
go, guys.
about? What I thought
Thank
about
you.
today? Okay, Margaret, great seeing you.
See ya.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Good to
Bye.
see you back
Bye.
in action. Okay, awesome.
And then there were two.
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, I don't know, we have a few minutes left. Hasn't started counting down yet, so.
All right.
But yeah, that's great. That's always great information when we get together. Somebody's got something that's, important.
Yeah, I try and catch the replays when I can.
Okay,
And yeah, it's really useful to have it.
okay, cool.
Thank-
I'm gonna keep
thank
it
you.
going as long as it's going, and then we'll just see where it goes to from there.
Yeah, and from your point of view, it's good, isn't it? Curating content like that
Yeah.
it's quite good. And you go and
Lots of-
reconnect with things you haven't seen for a while, and
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a timestamp too. Any kind of video you make is a timestamp from, you go back and look at, oh, that's what I was doing then.
Yeah,
And you know what else I really like about this format is it's kind of a stage for everybody. Everybody
Yeah.
can be and get their voice heard, whatever they want to say.
Yeah.
And then you can share that link with people, it's you on camera, and that's been great too. It's not.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the other benefit of having the recordings, isn't it? So you can go and pick out some choice moments.
Yeah, and share that. Yeah, and maybe we'll dwarf the content a little bit into a more general, general conversation, but.
Obviously I consume a fair bit of content about mindset and stuff and meditation and all that stuff, but it's nice to see. I'd never come across that before. Was it Michael Singer's?
Yeah, it's Michael A. Singer. The book is called The Untethered Soul. It's one of the most amazing books I've read. And a lot of people said that because that's to me, it's the most important key element to anything you do is getting your mindset right. And getting the internal stuff right. And
yeah, it is. If you haven't got that right, if you don't have a stable base, then you've got nowhere to grow from, have you?
Yeah, and where he's different than a lot of other people is taking a kind of one step further. A lot of people realize that you are not your thoughts or your emotions or who you are, or your name, or how you look, or any of that. You're your soul inside.
Yeah.
He's saying the soul is one more removed than that. It's the one watching the thoughts and all this stuff happen.
Yeah.
And then creating the reality. So it's nice.
Yeah. There's a Bob Proctor meditation that I do quite often, and he's saying you're not your name,
Right.
because a name is something you have.
Right.
Yeah, and there's something else I forgot what it is.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say too. If anyone has any cool stuff to share, we'll put it on the call. As long as it's sort of try to keep it under 10 minutes, so it's pick up the whole time. But there's lots of good stuff up there, and I think it's important. What I'm finding is it's just doing this on a daily basis every day. It's just conditioning yourself and your mind and everything to be positive every day, and every day is a new reset.
Yeah.
And the
Have you
conversation.
got a library of all this stuff, or do you go and look for it?
I go and look for it, but I have a library also, and it's kind of what my feeling is for the day, that what's going to be great. You know, I just kind of go, all right, that's today.
Yeah.
You know, whereas yesterday it would have been something else. And yesterday's call was really great with Wayne Dyer.
All right, I haven't heard that one yet.
Yeah, that was a really good conversation with Tina and Betty was on yesterday, so that was cool. But yeah, no, whatever library I can build, if some, you know, if anyone's got some suggestions, that's cool. Because I think it's endless. That's what I'm thinking. There's an endless amount.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Yeah, and especially if you can dive into YouTube and find something you like, and then it offers you a load of things which is similar, then that's great.
Yeah, and even I've been using the hashtags in the videos, and if you click on one of those hashtags, like hashtag inspiration, you'll get all videos on inspiration.
Right.
Or if you click on a hashtag Wayne Dyer, you'll get all Wayne Dyer stuff. You know?
Yeah.
Or on that sense, if you click on the hashtag the morning kickstart meetings, you get all the morning kickstart meetings all in one spot.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
And I prefer those the sort of spiritual the more spiritual ones, the more I can't think of the word, rather than the sort of shouty motivational ones, getting you going, getting you pumped up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I generally tend to turn those off. I think, I don't really need that.
Right.
Right. But I do quite enjoy the ones that's a bit more, I don't know, maybe they're a bit more cerebral and you think about it a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah. And I forgot about Bob Proctor. He's got some great stuff. So
yeah.
I'll look up some stuff from him too. And there's a lot of great people out there. You know,
it's good. It's great. Yeah. I mean, we've made our own content as well, and it's quite nice to see how many people have watched our own videos. Quite like that. I made a load about 5 years ago, and I need to sort of try and repurpose them. I probably need to do them again anyway, but I can certainly use snippet. My video editing is gradually getting slowly better, but I can start taking snippets, and that's my next plan, is to start taking snippets of those things I did a few years ago and start putting them on TikTok.
Right. And then do what a lot of people are doing, put some cool visuals to the video. That's it. That's all it is them talking with a bunch of stock video footage.
Yeah.
That they dug up, but it's or the doodle art like we were talking about.
And then we'll be doodling, yeah.
Yeah. But you'll notice that's all people do is they just get some stock footage of people on the beach or whatever they're talking about, you know. And then sometimes they'll put themselves talking in between all that, which is cool too.
Yeah.
But it's better than just having watching someone talk for.
Oh yeah, certainly standing and talking to a camera is it's no good.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, I like the idea. There could be some more content going out there on stem cells and stem cell patches.
Yeah, I'll probably take everyone through a little bit of through my rehab and an ongoing fitness thing. I think I'd be able to use that, and the fact that we can use patches for different reasons, but especially the stem cells.
Right. And we had the conversation a couple of days ago. We've been talking about anti-aging and reverse your age, and that's cool, and that's what it does, like the stem cell patches. But it's a little bit hard to connect to or relate to, like reverse your age. What is that? It sounds like some fountain of youth thing, right? But it is true. But if you talk about it in the way of, you know, your joints are not as sore, you can move around, you got more mobility, you got better sleep, you got better clear skin, less wrinkles, better sleep, all that stuff. Now that's your age is reversed, right? Because you feel like you did when you were younger.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. I've come a cropper with a few people by saying that I'm helping people to reverse their age, and they come back and say, "What are you trying to say?"
Yeah, exactly. About them,
or something.
Yeah. Yeah. So, are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I see the timer.
Yeah. Okay. And I just clicked the wrong button there, and I lost you. Let me find out where the screen is. Oh, that's crazy. Okay, go back. Yeah, I tried to just get the timer removed and it took me to some other screen here. Okay, there you go. Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's been
Cool.
good.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Thank
We'll
you.
wrap it up. I like that idea about documenting your journey for people. Yeah.
Yeah, now I'm feeling a bit better. I'll have to get in front of the camera a bit more.
Yeah. Until, you know, see, even document it for yourself and then use that content.
Yeah. Yeah. Watch this space.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, Simon.
Okay, Don.
Awesome
Thanks very
talking
much.
to you.
See you
Have
next
an
time.
awesome day. Awesome productive day. Yeah.
Yeah, you too. Have a great one.
See you again
Cheers.
soon. Awesome.